a reaction video to Julia Sana. She's another, fruit-based individual. Likes to talk about like weight loss, her journey, etc. And yeah, she's pretty cool. So let's just dive in. Got a new video on. Let's see here, the 10 daily weight loss habits that helped me lose 40 pounds. Okay, so let's dive in. Let's dive in.
Talking about habits. And if you know me, you also know that I do not approve of habits that are boring, lame, tiring, exhausting, and not fun. Because my favorite mantra is when you make it fun, you get it done. And in today's video, I'm going to share with you my 10 favorite habits for releasing weight effortlessly, with ease, and without feeling like you need to do stuff that you don't enjoy. So let's get right into it. The first habit is to remember my why every single day.
I'm actually almost convinced now that if you don't have some form of vision board with like an affirmation statement of where you want to be, some form of picture or goal statement somewhere in the fridge or in your phone or somewhere, you're just not going to get it done. Like, let's be honest, you're just not going to get it done.
Potentially even journaling in my journal, writing down why is it important to me to be lean, to be slim, to be fit. Because chances are, if we don't have a strong why, then we're not going to take action. So if you don't have a why yet, then I really encourage you to sit down and write down why is it important to you to be lean, and to see if that reason is strong enough. And just losing the weight or looking better is not good enough. Like, what will that lean, slim, fit, toned body allow you to do in your life? Will it maybe allow you to attract your soulmate? Will it allow you to make more money because you feel lighter, you have more energy? What is it that you want to do with that lean body? And if you don't have a strong why, that's completely all right. Then maybe it's time to assess, do I actually want to lose weight? Because chances might be that maybe it's not important enough to you. But if you have a strong why, and if it is important to you, then it is so important to circle back to that why, to remember that why every single day. My why, I've already shared it in one of my recent videos, is a bit more complex, but the main one is that my body is my temple, it's my home, and I love that home to be super clean, super organized, super beautiful, and I just love feeling comfortable inside my home because my body is the only real home I have. Yes, I also have a physical home that I live in, but my main home is my body. And I love my body to be healthy, clean, vibrant, fit, slim, good looking, vibrant, glowing. So that's my why, and that's what I circle back to, and what I circled back to especially on my weight loss journey, because there have been times where it was really tough, where I was thinking about giving up, where I was thinking about giving in and just not continuing. And in those moments, I remembered, what the heck, Julia? Like, why am I doing this? This is so important to you. You have such a strong vision. It doesn't make any sense to give up at this point. So that's the first habit. And if you only take away this one, you're already going to see results. Guaranteed. How could
I would also say as well that generally speaking, human beings aren't always vibrating at a higher sort of state of consciousness in terms of how they perceive their goals. So, I've mentioned in another video, or if I haven't posted it, I'll mention it here, that generally speaking, you do oscillate. You do oscillate between sort of like lower level sort of like motives and like higher like level consciousness. And sometimes whenever I would say like you just want to use as many forms of motivation as you can towards your goal. So whenever you're more in the like low vibration state, that like, oh, I just want to get back at the people who like, called me fat or something growing up or something like that, or pure vanity. You just want to like just look amazing. Um, like you just want to be like, chiseled or lean or toned. Or if you're oscillating from more of like a higher sort of state of consciousness, like off like the good of humanity, just so that I can inspire my children, and like just so that you can inspire the world, be, pave the path for the next generation, be the beacon of hope for my family. So to heal the traumas of the past from like just unhealthy eating, use it all, because you're going to be oscillating, in terms of your mode of consciousness all the time. So what she's saying is absolutely spot on. The more your why, the more superficial your why is, whenever you face like stumbling block, it may not be enough to help you overcome that stumbling block. So you need to have deeper sense, like a deeper reason why you're doing it, but also use them all. Use them all. Sometimes you will just want to stunt on someone that like wronged you or something, maybe because you're just oscillating in that wave, but don't stay there. Don't stay there.
would you not if you have a strong reason to go out every day and take action? The second one is grocery shopping. I love grocery shopping, and if you want to release weight, I think falling in love with grocery shopping, and especially really focusing on the fruit and vegetable aisle and picking out the nicest, most delicious, vibrant, good looking, attractive looking to your unique body in this moment fruits and veggies is such a game changer. Because if you're surrounded by highly desirable fruits and vegetables in your kitchen, guess what's going to happen? You'll want to eat these. So the fruit and vegetable aisle is your best friend, and just buy the thing.
The fruit and vegetable aisle is your only friend. It's like the only friend. Everything else is just, it looks good, but they're like trying to kill you. Basically every other aisle.
Things that you really feel most attracted to. The third habit is movement before breakfast.
I will say as well, what I've noticed in the clients that have lost weight, working with me, is that they love vegetables. The pictures that they show me are just filled with colorful, non-starchy vegetables. So this is why I'm always like, if I'm working with someone and I can see that they're not eating enough vegetables, I'm like, not only is this not correlated to what I've seen to be successful sort of clients, but you're also just reducing the amount of vitamins and minerals that you're gonna get. So
Or rather, movement and water and hydration before breakfast. So before I'm eating anything in the day, I like to earn my carbs. I don't like to look at it that way, but it is something that kind of makes it more gamifying for me to say that phrase. And yeah, while I'm doing that, while I'm earning my carbs, I'm drinking some water, I'm rehydrating on some refrigerated cold fresh water. And it doesn't have to be anything fancy. It can just be 20 jumping jacks and a couple of squats, or a couple of push-ups, or a couple of pull-ups. Just getting the body moving, getting the body activated, and um, letting the cells know, okay, it's time to wake up.
I mean, in nature, like, let's be honest, in nature, you're gonna have to move your butt. Regardless, you're gonna have to move your butt. There's no like magical tree that just always like replenishing fruits and like tender greens, and it doesn't work that way. So by default, you have to move to acquire food in nature. So whenever you're not moving at all, it's gonna cause problems, just fundamentally.
The fourth habit is intermittent feasting, how I like to call it. Now, you might be thinking, this is kind of lame and not fun. I don't enjoy intermittent feasting. But hear me out. Intermittent fasting, what most people call it, has been pretty popularized in the last couple of years. I know a lot of people doing it, and I personally don't like to look at it in such a strict, boring way of, okay, you have this eating window, and apart from that window you cannot eat anything. That's not how I like to look at it. However, I personally have found that if I don't eat the entire day, my body feels so much more energized. And I've been talking about this with my parents, because both my parents are super lean. My mom is post-menopausal. My dad is in his 60s. They're both incredibly lean. And I think one of their secrets is that they don't eat the entire day. They have usually two meals. They have a breakfast, and then they have a late.
I swear Arnold Ehret was talking about this back in the day. So well, first of all, it kind of spills on to the whole earn your meal, even though like that mindset can sometimes drive people crazy. But Generally speaking, you wouldn't have food at the very, just off the gate. So you would have to go out and like work and stuff like that to acquire your food. So whenever it comes to intermittent fasting, the consumption, absorption, and elimination cycle is a lot more in tune. You're so much more in tuned with it. And whenever I do it, it makes me feel a lot more energized and a lot more efficient whenever it comes to how I operate, my bowel movements, my energy. It just seems cleaner whenever I do intermittent fasting versus eating like 3 or 4 times or 5 times per day. And for some people, you can take the same amount of calories. Say you're consuming 2,000 calories per day, but you're spreading it out and stuff, but you're not seeing weight loss success. You can take the same amount of calories and just split it between, say, 2 meals. And that greater efficiency, that greater bowel efficiency that you have, the fact that the stomach has more of a chance to empty itself and focus on other things, focus on eliminating excess unwanted fats or bad cells, that can actually move the needle in terms of becoming more toned and getting leaner with the same amount of calories. The same. So it's definitely worth looking into. Oh, okay. The volume is not okay. Let's take that back.
They usually don't eat dinner, and I've kind of started doing the same thing, and it's worked wonders for me. I usually eat, around half an hour to 1.5 hours after waking up, and then I have my last meal at 3 or 4 p.m. And then after that, I'm done with the day. And that also allows me to have more time in the day where I'm not thinking about food, so I can go on and do other things. I can be productive in that time. And it's just like my body doesn't even think about food anymore because the hunger hormone leptin is no longer being released in that time. So the only times where it's going to be a little bit challenging is going to be the first week, but then once your body has gotten used to that kind of eating routine, that eating window, it's no longer going to require any willpower or any effort for you to not eat in that time. And I would say intermittent feasting is probably one of the most effortless ways to release weight without thinking about it, without using willpower, because you only need to set up the routine once and then it's dialed in and you're no longer thinking about it. I will mention one caveat though, and that is if you are female, I definitely highly, highly, highly recommend to not intermittent fast. So to not fast in the morning, but to have some food after waking up. Because I found from my own body and also from talking with other women's women that it can really mess up your hormones if you fast for too long in the morning. So that's just one thing I want to add here about the intermittent feasting, which I prefer that name. The fifth habit is high water content foods. I've already mentioned it, but I cannot mention high water content foods enough because high water content foods are so nutrient dense, they have so much volume, and they also satiate us and give us energy because they're still high in carbs. And high carb, low fat foods are our very best friend when it comes to weight loss. And one thing I like about high water content foods, let's say, watermelon, apples, oranges, kiwi, mangoes, papaya, and then all the beautiful vegetables, like literally every single vegetable in existence. So, a habit of mine that I love so much is really focusing on those foods and finding the ones that we enjoy the most. So, for me personally, one of my all time favorites is melon. I love melon more than anything right now.
I personally like. I don't really eat that much like high water content foods, but I do make lots of smoothies. Like for example, my staple fruit is dates, and dates are like a dirty word in some parts of like the raw food community where they're like it's too dry and high in sugar, bro. Um, but like literally, like majority of my fruit calories comes from dates. But I then again, I put dates in a blender with lots of water, a liter plus berries, greens, etc. So if you want dates to be your staple, you can do it. Like I've been doing it for years. Ideally, put it in a smoothie, with lots of water, blend that up. It's easier for your sort of your dental hygiene. You don't have to like be as crazy with the flossing, etc., versus sort of eating them. So that's something to keep in mind. I know there's people who live in places where they maybe the climate's really cold, maybe they don't have like perfect heating in their house, and they're like, what am I going to do, just unripe bananas, or like not perfectly ripe watermelons, or like just like not perfectly ripe fruit, and they're going crazy because they don't know how to like sufficiently get enough calories. I'm telling you, I'm showing you the way. I'm here. Dates, you can do date smoothies and get lots of like calories in. I've been doing it for years.
now. And also, I at the moment really like zucchini and eggplant and bell pepper, tomatoes, cucumbers, iceberg lettuce. What else do I love? Yeah, I think those are the main ones that I'm really focusing on right now. So those are always in my fridge. Post production Julia here. I just wanted to mention something really important quickly. People often tell me that they do not feel satiated from just eating fruits and vegetables. And I want to mention that the key to success is really to mix the high water content foods with higher calorie density foods. Because, of course, if we eat only high water content foods, then we're going to feel super stuffed, but we're not really getting in the calories. So, always make sure that you eat both, like the high water content stuff that you want to incorporate abundantly into your diet, but you also have some calorie denser foods.
Yeah, I see people who are like, yeah, I'm gonna try like this raw food thing with apples. Just, I'm gonna try the mucusless diet with apples, and I'm just like, oh man, you're in for a rude awakening. You're in for a rude awakening. No, bananas and dates are the potatoes and rice of the fruit-based, mucusless, raw food world. You can disagree with me, but then just look at the most successful people on this lifestyle. It's either bananas, dates, or even grapes. But bananas and dates are the cheapest.
And the sixth one is to count your calories. You don't have to do it for the rest of your life. You don't have to do it for a long period of time, but just for a couple of days or for a couple of weeks to count your calories. Now, there are pros and cons, of course, to counting it. Con is definitely you're a lot more in your head, you're thinking a lot more about it, and you cannot go as much with the free flow. However, then the amazing pros of counting your calories that I have found is that you ensure you are not into too big of a calorie deficit, but you're actually eating enough so you feel satiated. Oh my god, what's going on here? You don't actually need to be hungry in order to release weight. You just need to be on that edge where you could eat a tiny little bit more, but you're good. You're completely good. That's kind of the edge where we're releasing weight and where we are burning fat. And to find that edge, it's a lot easier when you track and you see how much am I eating compared to trying to guess. And really counting calories just takes all that guesswork out of for you, and it's a bulletproof way. And the amazing thing again is that when you have a bulletproof way, you are going to see results. Like there's no way you're not going to see results. And then when you start seeing those results, it motivates you so much to eat really well, to take care of your body. And then once that cycle is started, once that fire is burning, I kind of look at it like, when you first make a fire, you need to set up the fire. But once the fire is burning, like it just burns on its own. You no longer need to do anything really. You maybe need to add a few logs, the longer time goes on to the fire so that it continues burning. But pretty much you're set. And that's how I look at calorie counting. And then one last benefit I have found from counting calories, there are probably more, is that it really gamifies the process as well. Because I like gamifying things.
I'd like to say as well that I honestly have never seen anyone struggle with weight loss eating fruits, vegetables, and potatoes, and excluding almost everything else. Or like people who just eat fruits and vegetables. It's just so rare. It's like everything else, the processed foods, the high fat plant foods, if you're still eating animal products, meat, dairy products, all these different things. Like whatever you eliminate all that, and just eat fruits and vegetables, or fruits, vegetables, and tubers, like just people just do not struggle. Like calorie counting comes into play to make sure that they eat enough. So at some stage, especially if you're doing that and you're intermittent fasting, eating abundantly within your window, etc., or if it's 2 meals is what I do. You eating abundantly within those 2 meals. I just don't. It's just so rare to come across someone struggling still. You know. But yeah, that's just my thoughts. Calorie counting is good for some people who, for some reason, if they seem to be doing everything right, if they seem to be doing everything right, and they're still not seeing results, yeah, calorie counting is good at that stage, because then you get really dialed in. Like, are you really, focused on certain metrics, or are you letting yourself go on certain metrics, etc. So yeah, and people who don't eat enough, it's really good for them too.
In a way like a video game where you can like get points and you win or you lose, and you don't take it so serious. Okay, maybe one day you went overboard a little bit, fine, like tomorrow I'm going to play this video game again and then I can win because I have more tools and strategies now for how to succeed. So those are kind of the pros. And if you would like to know how many calories exactly you should be eating to release weight, because there are a lot of factors that play into it, and chances are it's probably a lot of calories you can eat every single day. That's also something I've realized about calorie counting, is that it doesn't have to be this way where it feels restrictive of, oh my God, I can only have this many calories. There's actually quite a big amount we can eat every day and still lose weight. So isn't that amazing? So kind of shifting our perspective away from that lack mentality into an abundance mentality where we see, oh my God, there is so much we can have. So that's really something. And if you would like to find out how many it is for you, then definitely make sure to reach out to me and we can set up a free call where we can talk about how many calories you should be eating. And the link is down.
Generally speaking, like if you start at 2,000 on fruits, vegetables, tubers, etc., just see how you get on. Like generally speaking, if you're an adult and you're consuming 2,000 calories of fruits, vegetables, and tubers, and you're still not seeing, you're still not seeing any results, go from there. You know what I mean? But generally speaking, I just see so much online of like 1,000 calories or 1,000 like 500 and stuff, and I completely understand if someone's like 5 foot and sedentary, etc. But I always just say aim for that, and then if you're not seeing results, then maybe adjust. But generally speaking, 2,000 calories is good enough for the majority of adults. And this isn't according to me. This is just according to the RDA. This is according to the RDA. And again, I'd love to see someone getting fat from fruits, vegetables, or fruits, vegetables, and potatoes. I just want to see it. Lock them in a room and just have them only eat fruits, vegetables, or fruits, vegetables, and potatoes, and just let me see it. I want to witness it with my eyes.
Down below. The seventh habit is to use steaming as my preferred method of cooking. So I'm currently in.
This is actually a really good tip, not just for weight loss, but for health. Acrylamides are cancerous. This is why the whole fire grew our brains thing is nonsense. Throwing inedible plant foods into dry heat, blackening it, making it cancerous, and then ingesting that to grow a brain that can also grow from fruits. It just doesn't make any sense. And doing the same with meat, heterocyclic amines. Meat is already sort of cancerous and clogs your arteries and heart disease, all these different things, but then throwing it into dry heat, releasing heterocyclic amines, and then eating that and thinking that grew our brains and made us advance is absolutely ridiculous.
Italy traveling in an Airbnb and there's no steamer here. And what I found is that the food, when I cook it, doesn't have as much flavor anymore. It kind of tastes a little bit more bland. So for me, this was such a great reminder of how amazing steaming is, because it retains so much more flavor and it also retains more nutrients. And again, the more nutrients we have in the food that we eat, the more satiated we're going to feel, because satiation doesn't just come from calories. It also comes from volume and it comes from nutrient density. And one more thing I forgot to mention about the steaming is that it, of course, is superior to frying and, in my opinion, also baking, because frying, again, you have to add oil, and oil is just not a weight loss food because it's so calorie dense. Again, you can lose weight while eating oil, but you'll have to restrict yourself a lot more, and you'll probably have to feel hungry in order to release the weight. Versus if you steam your food, you can eat these huge bowls of food and you can feel so nourished and satisfied. And then why it is superior to baking, in my opinion, is because it just takes out less water. And the more water, especially when we're eating whole foods like plants, the water is filtered by the plant, and that water is just going to rejuvenate your cells. It's going to revitalize your entire body. So yeah, steaming is my favorite way, and also my tastiest, most delicious way to, if I cook my food. And then again,
water frying, people don't realize you can just basically just water fry. So you can stick just like maybe like a cup of water in a frying pan, then add all your vegetables, garlic, onions, and stuff like that, tomato puree, and saute vegetables like that. If you need more water, just add a bit more water and just keep cooking like that. So
the ultimate, of course, is to eat it raw and to eat it fresh, vibrant living, and to not denature your food in any way. But yeah, I would say out of all the denaturing ways that we can eat our food, steaming is the superior one, in my opinion. The eighth habit is to find a commitment buddy or a coach and to connect with that person on a very regular basis.
I also offer some one-on-one coaching. I've been working with a couple people over the past years. So if you are interested, definitely either follow Juliana or reach out to me. Always interested in helping people reach their weight loss goals. So yeah, accountability partner helps massively because someone can hold you consistent to reality until you fall into that sort of cosmic habit pattern, as Napoleon Hill would call it. They sort of hold the space for you to create momentum down a certain path. And a good coach really truly desires for you to be able to then just run off and be able to continue those habits.
This is also incredibly helpful. It could just really be a friend. If you have a friend that you feel that really supports you, and where you feel like the person believes in you, the person believes in your success and knows that you're going to achieve your goal no matter what, like it's out of the question, that is what is going to set you on fire, and that is going to start you taking action. Or you can reach out to me. I help people, I support people on their weight loss journeys as well. I work with them one on one on Zoom. So if that's something you feel like you would need, then again, the link in the description box is where to go. The ninth
If you've lost weight on a fruit-based lifestyle, just think about the amount of people online promoting like carnivore, keto, just trash diets, if it fits your macros, etc. You still eat garbage, but as long as it's like within your calories, like not teaching people about just foods that are consistent with our anatomy. Just think about the trash the average person is coming across. This is why I definitely urge people to, if you feel inclined, definitely get online and just start sharing your journey, coming onto like a whole food plant based lifestyle, fruit based lifestyle, or transitioning to more sort of mucusless lifestyle, as Arnold would call it.
ninth habit is to do something every single day that nourishes you, that is not food. So, for me personally, something that's very nourishing is to stretch every single morning. It's to connect with my family, to connect with my friends, and it's also to
So I'm just speeding it up because my timer is about to come to an end. Let me just move this forward a bit.
the last habit is to fall in love with the process.
Yep.
If you hate the process, if you hate your life, if you hate everything you have to do in order to get your result, you're not going to continue doing it. So the last one is to fall in love with the process.
I approve. I approve with them all. You did great. Great video. As always, people, like and subscribe. Check out Julia's channel. And with that being said, peace, love, veganism. I'm out.